Hi friends, this is Aylin Aydin, your astrologer and tarot reader, and this is your seasonal tarot reading for the spring of 2021. In this seasonal tarot reading, there's a couple of things that we're going to be going over. So I'm going to outline every single one of those things that we're going to be going over before we get started. So this reading covers everything you need to know for the spring season of 2021. The first thing that we're going to start out with, though, is a collective message reading with all of the elements. And as we go through the elements and through the cards that I have pulled for the elements, I will be explaining what it all means. The second thing that we're going to go over is the tarot reading for your personal sign that covers each of the lunar phases during this season. The first phase that we're going to be focusing on is the new cycle beginning with the new moon in Aries. The second phase we'll focus on is the new cycle beginning with the new moon in Taurus. And then the third phase that we're going to be focusing on is the new cycle that begins with the new moon in Gemini. Let's get started with the collective message. Now, the collective message is going to consist of 5 elements that we're going to cover for this entire season. It is going to be fire, water, earth, air, and space. And as we cover these, I'm going to give more examples of what the elements stand for. Now, majority of us already know or have a relationship to these elements that I'm going to be going over. But if you're drawn to certain elements, make sure you come back and listen to them again. Or you could also just put together a bigger kind of message for yourself through your sun, moon, or rising sign. Now, the very first thing that I'm going to be covering is the element of fire. Fire stands for the self, for our body, for the way in which we use our strength, mind, body, spirit all together to put things into action. It's also an element that stands for action. And the collective message here, the 2 tarot cards that fell out, was the 4 of Swords and the 8 of Pentacles reversed. So what we can expect during this spring season is that we're going to feel a little bit restless. We're also going to feel restless because we're trying to figure out and narrow down what it is that we should be focusing on. And I think that that is the reason why this was reversed, because a lot of our focus during this spring season is going to be on everything that we're trying to accomplish, or we're trying to ignite a new path. So there is sort of this moment here where a lot of our actions will be sort of coming with a lot of intensity. And I think that it's also going to be focusing a lot on just giving ourselves an opportunity to begin again and to move forward again. Now, with the fire element, there is also an oracle card that I have felt drawn to pull for this spring season, and that is the dolphin. And it says, embrace your inner child. And I really feel that what this message is all about is that we are to look at the things that we truly, truly love. Now let's move on to the water element. The water element, there's a bunch of cards that fell out here. So we're going to go through it one by one. The water element is our emotions, but really what is being reflected in our day-to-day. What kind of emotional currency are we going to be moving through all throughout this season? I think that when we are coming up to the full moon in the first lunar cycle, what we are discovering is that there is a strength that is returning within us. The Queen of Wands fell out. It's really just going to be about a strength, or we're going to discover a moment here. It's going to be an aha moment that, you know, gives us sort of an answer that we have been looking for, and it reignites our faith. That's what I'm seeing here with the Queen of Wands. The second card that fell out is the 7 of Wands reversed. I think that we're going to feel quite kind of tired by the time we get to that full moon. The reason for that is because, again, the energies are very intense during the beginning of this spring season with that new moon cycle in Aries. And there's just a lot that we're trying to accomplish in a short period of time. So it seems that's what the cards are showing us here. But even if even if we take a look at the astrological transits, that is what we're seeing as well. We're moving forward. The energy is moving us forward. And so what we are discovering during this time is that this is our opportunity to step into our destiny, our fate. There's a lot of fated events that might be unfolding in your life. And if this really speaks to you, this is going to be a moment where you have to sort of take a moment to gauge if this opportunity is worth pursuing, right? Because opportunities are going to be arising, but not every opportunity is going to bring us what we're looking for. And so here you must remind yourself of the past. Five of Cups. The Five of Cups is basically saying, are you repeating something from the past because you're trying to, get a particular emotion back into your life? But does it have to come through this one thing? Does it have to be through this one person? Does it have to be through this one company, this one, job, this one path that you thought all of your life would be the only way that you would feel accomplished? The Five of Cups here is saying, is this really what it is that you're trying to accomplish, or are you repeating the past? Make sure you're listening to your heart. Make sure you're listening to the clues, right? Like take a moment to gather all the information and then see emotionally what feels right. Because, your own inner heart wisdom knows the answers. And I think that's what the Five of Cups is saying here. You must take the past into consideration. Now, the spiritual guidance card is Sandbar. Okay, it says discovery of new pathways and opportunities. Yes, absolutely. There is going to be new pathways and opportunities. But again, we must actually look for those opportunities as well during the season. So a lot of it will come to us. But then if you feel that you're repeating the past, there is going to be another way. There is going to be another way. And you must stay open in order to see it. And that's what I'm seeing here. So emotionally, what are we taking a look at? We're taking a look at, focusing on being hopeful and focusing on being curious, focusing on love. Do we love it? Yes, no. That is how we're gauging all throughout this spring season. For the earth element, the one tarot card that fell out here is the Two of Wands. This is so interesting because I really feel that we are going to be looking at how to put value back into our life through the lens of where we belong emotionally. Where do we belong in the world emotionally? What is it we desire? Who are the people that need to be in our lives or that we envision that are in our lives, right? So these are the things that we're going to be looking at. I also feel like a lot of us will be finding new sets of values because our values have changed. So that is another really big thing, I think, with the Two of Wands. It's a very simple message for the earth element. Now, for the spiritual advice, we have Poseidon. Emotions are intense. Be cautious of how you treat others. So I really do feel that because we're going to be in a very passionate season, I think that what a lot of us can expect is that we're going to be clearing a lot of misunderstandings in our relationship dynamics. That's number one. I also think that we're going to be clearing the way for us to know now where we emotionally belong in the future. I think that that is going to be a very big role based on our values. We're to ground ourselves in this area emotionally and to look for genuine connection. I think that is going to be another really, really big part here. Now, the other thing that I'm seeing with this Poseidon card is that there is sort of this moment where we could be creating a storm in our lives, which is what Poseidon really represented anyway in Greek mythology. He was feared for being the person that created storms. And so I think that what we are to watch out for is how we're communicating our values to other people, because during this time, we could be emotionally very sharp. And what we're saying could really hurt another person. And so I think that we have to be mindful of how we are communicating what it is that we feel on the inside out there. There is also going to be new information that is going to come up that will help everyone to connect the dots. There is more information that's coming up for the collective, for out into the open, for people to see, that will allow for us to connect the dots. This will have to do with science. This will have to do with scientific research. This will also have to do with anything that needs more scientific research. And so I think that during this time, we're going to feel very passionate. For the air element, our intellect, the way in which we are going to be thinking, the way in which we might communicate, or the way in which we get inspired, we have the 9 of Wands. I think that what we're realizing is that there are certain things in our lifestyle that we are now seeing in the collective way that is just not worth defending anymore, or is worth defending. So we're going to have both sides here. I also am seeing with the spiritual advice card, Bird of Paradise, embark on a new adventure. Yes, there are going to be new ways in which we're wanting to dissolve past boundaries so that we can live our life in a different kind of a way. So there could be moments where you might just sort of decide that you want to do something very different because the opportunity presents itself. And I think that the way that you want to do this something different is going to come through is by you getting sort of a piece of communication that empowers you. I think we can really count on that, especially during May when we get into that new moon cycle, or that entire phase with the new moon beginning in Taurus. I think what's going to happen is that we're going to be in this place where we're going to want to reach further beyond what we used to do in our day-to-day. And now that opportunity is there. Now we're wanting to grab that opportunity and we want to go with it. I also think that there is going to be a lot of people that will start to share what has happened to them in the last year and a half, who they've become, who they've seen, what has happened, to them, and what exactly the shifts are that are happening within them. For the last element, which is space. Space basically representing what are we to hold space for in our lives during this particular season. The one card, tarot card that fell out is the Page of Wands. And that is interesting. The Page of Wands is like a new learning curve about ourselves. So we're going to continue to learn more about who we're becoming. We're also going to be continuing to learn about how to trust the actions that we're taking. I think that there is this moment where we are to trust, especially right before the eclipse, we are to trust that what is happening and what is unfolding in our lives is exactly what is meant to be. Because some things are fate, and then some things will also mix with fate and our free will, obviously. But here, the Page of Wands basically says, look, you have to trust the feeling that you have. You have to trust the value that you have in your life. And it is leading you, it is guiding you somewhere. And it might be a new intimate connection that you have with people, with your career, with certain values in your life, and you are to trust it. And the spiritual message cards, there's 3 of them that came out. The first one is anchor. Be hopeful, choose optimism. I think that there can be some cynicism that could come up, right? If the card were to be reversed, if we don't take the opportunity, even though the energies are very good and the energies will be guiding us into a new perspective that we can anchor into, that we can have faith and hope over, that we can have optimism over. So as the collective, we are learning how to trust the actions that are being taken. And then there's also going to be moments where we're going to see who we cannot trust. Because it always goes both ways, right? It's not just one way, like everything is rainbows and lollipops, it is going to go both ways. And so I think that there is going to be moments where we will actually see that we cannot trust this one person, or we've trusted the wrong kind of, situation. And so that is going to come up as well. And the second spiritual message for trust and holding, new kinds of trust in our life is the fish. And again, the foundation for it is going to be, what are we trusting? Who are we trusting? And first and foremost, are we trusting ourselves so that the balance can come in? The third spiritual message is the starfish. Trust your instincts. So what's interesting about the starfish is that the starfish is a very complex creature. It actually doesn't have a brain. It has a very complex nervous system. The starfish also speaks about the fact that when we take a look at the starfish and the life of the starfish in and of itself, it relies on its environment for survival. So these types of themes are going to be coming up. The space that we're coming into, especially when we get into the Gemini season, there is going to be moments where we're going to realize that there are certain dependencies that we have in our environment that are being betrayed. And because they're being betrayed, we are now to trust a new path. We're now to trust something else. And where is that something else going to come from? You know, this is what we're looking at with the starfish, right? There is a betrayal of some sort that is going on to the values that we used to hold, or we thought we were putting all of our trust into this one thing in our environment, whether that's the food industry, whether that is some kind of, area of our life specific to where we live in our environment, that now we see is actually not what it is. And I think that with the starfish, it is hope. The message is hope that we can overcome betrayal. And the way that we can do that is by bringing the communication, or bringing basically an appreciation back to respecting ourselves and nature, respecting our environment, respecting the very thing that has been, where the boundary has been crossed. I think that's what we're seeing with the starfish here. It's really, really interesting. So between these three, anchoring down, finding the balance, and the starfish, there is something big that is going to start to come up in Gemini season, new forms of communication in your particular environment that will impact or have an impact that is not so favorable. And it has to do with some kind of betrayal, or some kind of, where the boundaries are being crossed for money, where there is sort of actions being taken without the consideration of the greater good. Something like this is going to be coming up during Gemini season. And I think that what we are being asked here is to hold space for that to happen, because sometimes we just don't know that certain things are going on in the background. So this is something that is going on in the background that is going to come up to the surface. And I think that what we are to do is actually hold space for that, because we are to help each other during this season to really come back to our center, a center to respect who we are, and a center to respect what is happening in our lives. Because when things go in the wrong direction, we need a moment to actually see why they went into the wrong direction. So I think that the starfish is communicating that through this card right here. So that's what I'm seeing here for the space element. Now, before we dive into your sign, I do want to quickly mention that I do offer readings in person, and I also do video recordings that I do send to you with a private link. And if you would like to book any of my readings, that information is in the description box below. Right now, I do have a tarot reading, which is a video recording that I do for you personally, that is on sale, 30% off. So if you're interested in working with me a little bit closer, then you can book that reading. And everything that you need to know, again, is either at upriseastrology.com or in the description box below. So now let's take a look at your personal zodiac sign. You can listen to your sun, moon, or rising, or you can listen to all three if you know it, to kind of get a bigger reading and to know what is going to be coming up over the next 3 months.
Hi, Pisces. So your first phase, these are the cards. And I have to say that it is going to be a big cycle for you, because in so many ways it is a cycle for a lot of people, but for you, this is going to come with a premonition. That is the very first thing that I'm seeing here for you, Pisces. So when you take a look at the Queen of Wands here, this is you coming out into this month wanting to clear stagnant energy. I mean, you're just like, you have been ready, but I think that this month it is going to, or this phase is going to be one where you're wanting to really get rid of any patterns that don't go with what you're trying to create. So if it is going against your lifestyle that you're trying to create, like you're going to clear it, and you're going to claim your personal seat. Your personal seat, like what do I mean by that? Like personal grounding, personal empowerment, standing on both feet versus being in a place where you just feel maybe like a ship that's out in the ocean, but you just don't know where you're going. I think a lot of the beginning of 2020 maybe felt like that. And then you started to notice that so much was happening around you because you're just so incredibly in tune with everything. I think at sometimes it is at a point where you just don't even, you know so much that you don't even know what to do with that energy. I think that this is where you are trying to figure out this cycle. A lot of you, I feel like you're trying to figure out how to use the power of your mind and also the power of what you know, like the all-encompassing part about you, and how to put that into the role that you want to play out there in the world. This is a lot that I'm saying here, but I really feel like this is sort of a feeling that's coming in very strongly for me, for you. And I feel that you are going to be in this place where you're going to have a very strong premonition. And this premonition is going to tie into the past, also into the future. And it has to do with you're going to see something in a dream. I really feel very strongly that you're going to see something during a dream that you're going to have. And it's going to happen close to the full moon this month. When you get close to that full moon and you have this dream, I feel like you wake up the next day and there is going to be a moment here where you're going to say to yourself, I'm a little confused, but I know that I have to make a decision now. So it's going to tie into something that you are also working on right now in your life, in your personal life. I feel like a lot of the Pisces are working on the finances, the financial aspects. For some of you, it's going to tie into real estate and land. And then for some of you, it is going to be tying into your career and sort of trying to get something for your career. It may involve a move. It may involve something that you have to purchase in order to make this thing happen. And it's not that you maybe don't even have the money to purchase it. It's less about like whether the funds will be available. I feel like for a lot of you, it has to do with like making the right move. And why is it that you are wanting to make the right move? Like, what does it tie into? 7 of Cups. The lineage aspect, something about your lineage, something about reconnecting with your family, that's important to you during this time. I see that you have many different options. Some options seem easier, but it will not honor your physical and spiritual past and present and future. And that is how this premonition is going to tie into it. With the Wands, you have sort of the opportunity this month to really step into your action side. So what do I mean by that? You know, there's some times where we don't know maybe what action to take, or there's a feeling that it's not the right time to take this action. I feel like for you, Pisces, that is what you're coming out of. You felt like maybe it wasn't the right time to take action. And so now you're wanting to go back to your roots. And that is what the feeling is behind this Queen of Wands. And that's what I'm seeing here very strongly for you. So then you have this premonition, you want to go back to your roots, you're like the past, present, future. That is what the premonition is going to be about. I feel like you're going to see something that is going to be happening in the future. And you're going to feel like you're going to be communicated that throughout the dream. And please, if you have this dream, communicate it with all of us in the comment section below, because we all want to know, okay, Pisces? We need to know. So whatever this thing is that's going to be happening for you, or globally also, like some of this, whatever this dream is that you're going to have, I feel like It's going to tie into what's going to happen in the future, also like on a global sense, like with the world. Really interesting, because I actually had a dream like that last night. And it just was really, really interesting. Like some kind of a thing they're going to be manipulating in the policies. Something like that is going to be coming up. And it has to do with real estate. Like, it's really interesting. It has to do with land. I will share more about that in another report later. But so whatever it is that you're getting communicated, try to maybe even journal about it. I feel like it'll kind of clear up this confusion. Whenever we have the Seven of Cups, it comes with a good amount of confusion, okay? And the reason for that is because whenever we have to grapple with something, whenever we have to kind of figure it out, sort it out, it kind of reconnects us to our spirit and reconnects us to our emotions and who we are. I think for you, this is a really good thing. Another thing with the Seven of Cups is that you do have to sort of pay attention to something you're doing in the day-to-day that is draining your energy. With the Seven of Cups, I feel like it's a drainage of energy as well. So this ties into the patterns in your lifestyle that you're trying to get rid of. And what is it? You know, do you need to sleep more? Do you need to eat different kinds of food? Right? What is it? And it's going to come from your solar plexus. If you don't know what your solar plexus is, it's going to be your point of power. The point of power is about 2 fingers up from your belly button. That's your solar plexus. So that feeling that you get, like let's say you open up the fridge, you're taking a look at something you're about to eat, and you get this feeling from that solar plexus that it's either it doesn't feel good because it takes power away, or it fuels you, it gives you vitality. Something like this, I feel like, is also going to be in your awareness, because Aries season, it very much works with our body, as in willpower, to take action in a different kind of way. That is why Aries season is so powerful so for many of us, because it just comes with that kind of a clarity. Is this an action to take? Is this an action not to take? And I think for you with the Seven of Cups, that is what we're taking a look at. So it's really, really interesting. Like, so you are in this period, just a couple of days, where you're wanting to sort out like the next move, and it's time. And then it comes with a decision. Queen of Swords. You're going to make a decision. Some of you are going to be reaching out to someone to understand the details. So I feel like you're going to get the answers you're looking for by reaching out. You're going to have this like moment of contemplation, and it is sort of going to make you mindful, whatever the information is. Don't jump to conclusions, because whatever you're being communicated, don't jump to conclusions. Try to take a step back, because you are in the driver's seat. We have the Queen of Wands, we have the Queen of Swords. That's the driver's seat. That's you making decisions from a much better perspective, from a much more balanced perspective. That's what the Queen energy really stands for, a balance, right? Because I want to peel it back to something just so obvious in the cards. When you're sitting on a chair, just like the Queen does here, in this chair, both of their feet are on the ground. And when your feet are connected to the soil, to the ground, it is going to be a time where you are going to be connecting to the energy, the geographic energy, right? Like Queen has the feet on the ground in both of the cards, and she doesn't have to worry about whether she's off balance or not. She's able to maintain a really good point of view, but from a more relaxed point of view, because she doesn't have to worry about any kind of chaos that's happening. She doesn't have to worry about being thrown off or anything like that. She's able to see everything. And so for you, this is the space that you're in. So if you have any kind of moments where you feel like, am I going to be in that place if I can make that decision? Yeah, because whatever you're grappling with is just really something for you to sort through so you can make the best decision for yourself. And you are going to be making a much clearer decision that will actually remind you of your mission in life. It will remind you of your spirit's mission in life, and it will allow for things to shift naturally right after that. And we see that here with the Temperance card because you're coming out of a difficult situation. A situation where you just didn't know, a situation where you had to be very patient, not a problem for you, but still very annoying. And then allowing things to shift naturally is really going to be your superpower this month. The Temperance card is reversed. You don't have to try to balance things out anymore. Like really, it's incredible. Like this reading right here, just these first 4 cards, I feel like it's your reading right here. Okay, so there's a family member here that you're still uncertain about. We have the 4 of Wands reversed. You want to move forward with a plan. You want to move forward with something you're trying to create. And then this family member, you're a little bit like, they're not going to be grateful for what it is that I'm going to be wanting to do, or they're wanting it to be perfect, or they're wanting me to, show up in this particular kind of way, but it's not my essence, it's not who I am. And so whatever this is, we're going to see how to navigate this energy here. The best way, we'll draw some cards to kind of see what to do. But just know that this month, everything is going more in your favor. Whatever the difficulty and the confusion is, it's going to clear up the past. It is going to clear up the past. It is going to get you more present to what is happening in your life so you can move forward. And it is also going to clear up the future towards after the full moon. You're going to be super clear. That full moon is going to be integrating you. It's going to allow for you to release this worry about money, or release this worry about whether you're going to have this like well-being kind of continued if you were to make this big step. And whatever this big step is it's going to be a big step for you. Like, you are growing, you're letting go, you're breathing more, you're oxygenating a lot of the parts in your life that will have to do with, who you are. Because who you are is someone that is just powerhouse, And I think that this is sort of a new cycle you're going to get into, but this cycle that you're getting into, it's going to be like the gift that keeps on giving. You have to make that first step, though. I think that is the most important thing for you, Pisces, here. That's what I'm seeing. Like, as we were reading this card, like, I'm getting more and more into, you have to make that first step. That is what's going to be really important. Listening to your intuition, making that first step. So let's go a little bit further into this reading. Opportunities are coming, but we want to dive a little bit more into next layer, right? Like, what is all of this about? So the Queen of Wands energy, that premonition I feel like you're going to have, that kind of like wakes you up, it just like shakes you up a little bit right around that full moon. And what will it have to do with? We're going to take a look at that. I'm just trying to pick up the cards. I got my nails done and I'm trying to pick up the cards. And these cards are new and it's just so hard to pick them up. So, all right, we're going to take a look at this first one. What does this premonition have to do with? I'm just like super curious about that. Oop, and 2 cards already fell out. So we're going to take a look at that. So this premonition will have to do with you feeling like you want to really take a risk, and it's time for you to show people who you are. Okay? It's a new feeling you're going to have. It's almost indescribable, but really it has to do with passion. It has to do with you feeling like you're ready to take a risk. The 3 of Diamonds is a card where we have to sort of learn how to do things that will improve our role in the world. But it starts as a small thing. Like, you have to take this small step in order to get to the bigger step. And we also see that the 3 of Diamonds is backed up by the Ace of Spades. that Ace of Spades is a very strong card. It's almost like you're really going to feel like you're going to come about a mystery here. Like, this is about mystery. You're going to know why things have been the way that they have been, because whatever it is that you're going to see in your dream, you might have a couple of days of like trying to put the information together, but I do feel that you are going to be in this place where you're like, things are going to make sense to you. And because you are going to be in this place, and personally, it's going to impact you as well, because it ties into something you're doing in your lifestyle on a day-to-day basis that you're like, no more. I'm going to break away from this thing, whatever that was. Like, you are not going to continue to do it anymore. You're making this big lifestyle change. And for some of you, it'll have to do with your health. For some of you, it'll have to do with like a habitual thing you're doing every day that just doesn't make any sense anymore, because energetically, it just brings you down. And so it's going to be a quick turnaround. Like, it's not something that you have to ease into, or you're going to have to plan it out. Like, none of that. So that's what I'm seeing here with the Queen of Wands energy. You're going to be able to see something from a completely different angle that you had not seen before. And that is really interesting here for you. And so the Seven of Cups, that is the mystery right over here for you. Like, a couple of days, you have many options. And these options, though, I feel like some of them feel like they are the easier path. You have to make a choice now on how to move forward when it comes to 3 areas, okay? For some of you, it'll have to do with your past. It'll have to do with your family. For some of you, it'll have to do with how to really honor your physical and kind of spiritual essence, okay? So again, it ties into lifestyle. And then for some of you, it'll have to do with you don't want to make a choice that will kind of impact the finances. It could be all 3. I'm just narrowing it down because it's a general reading, right? So with the Seven of Cups, what are we taking a look at? Okay, so we have so whatever it is that is going to bring you more value in real life, out in the open, whatever it is that's going to kind of improve your skills as well, that is the clue here. That is how to navigate this energy. Looking at something that you've been wanting to change in your life, but does it really improve in day to day? Like, if it is improving you sort of on the metaphysical, meaning, yeah, you've worked on the emotions, you've worked on the feeling aspect of it, you might just notice here, or I feel like a lot of you are going to say to yourself, like, I'm done with that aspect. It's got to be something in the physical form now too. So that is your clue when you're looking at the Seven of Cups. Which one is going to bring me more of the physical manifestation? Because what you think is going to now start to prove to you that it's happening out in the open, you're going to see that, okay? So I feel like that is your clue right over here. The Queen of Swords, I feel like some of you are going to make an important phone call. You're reaching out to someone, you're making an important phone call. You are realizing that only you are the one that can do this. And then some of you are also going to have another conversation this month. There's a second conversation I'm seeing that will have to do with another person that is reaching out to you, giving you a piece of information, and it's just going to be like, what? You're going to want to jump to conclusions here with both of these messages. Try not to. Be patient. Try to contemplate more about distinguishing, right? A distinction between you and this thing that you're trying to reverse. But you may not even have to do much about it, is what I'm saying. Like, just you noticing or allowing for this communication to come through is going to teach you that you don't have to do anything about it, that you can let things shift naturally. Because what's going to happen after this first step that you're going to take is that you're setting this in motion, this intent, right? Like this intention that you have in order to buy the land, in order to make this career move, in order to just go on this adventure, in order for you to make the next decision as far as your role now, the expansion of who you are going to be right now and moving forward. That right there is going to kind of set this in motion, and you are going to just learn a lot about yourself during this time. And I think it has to do with mindfulness. It has to do with you not jumping to conclusions and just remembering your mission. That is what's really, really important here, is to remember your mission. The Temperance card, I really feel, has to do then with you get to what it is that you needed to do. You also get the clues that a difficult time is over. A difficult aspect of your life is coming to an end. This impatience, not that you were impatient, okay? But I'm just saying, like, this impatience as an energetics in the air. Like, when is this going to turn around? I feel like you're becoming very grateful for this opportunity, for this decision that you're going to be making that is going to lead you into sweetness, you know? Like, what's the opposite of the Temperance? It's sweetness, but it's also for you to realize that you are going to be making the decision. You are listening to yourself, and you are going to be blessing your life, in a sense, by doing what feels like it is the most meaningful to you. So the days of contemplation, it's really interesting because we've got the Jack of Hearts and the Jack of Clubs. So you get this information, feel like you have to do something about it, but the cards are saying don't. A couple of days later, when you get this feeling that the most difficult aspect in your life is just over because you said so, you then start to realize that it's go time. It's really interesting. It's kind of like this moment of, you know, should I do something? Should I not do something? You might want to react. Don't. And then you get this like aha moment. There's this aha moment that comes through, and you're birthing this new idea. Okay? You're finding the exact solution to what it is that you're trying to overcome and improve in your life. It opens up the path for you to move forward. You're clear. Six of Clubs is a card of clarity. Even if we just take a look at the Six of Clubs, right? There's a path that's clear. You're moving forward. However, it comes with a conversation that you need to have. And this conversation has to do with a family member who was like, I don't know, it's something about perfection comes up for me for you, because we take a look at the six. The six is a card of creation, but it can also be a card of like, you know, everything always has two sides to it. The six has another side to it. You know, when you are really super creative, it can make someone jealous, or it can make someone compare, or it can be, you know, a competitive energy with the six. It can be so competitive that the other person kind of just, because you are so much more expansive, they don't know how to feel that joy for you, because they don't even know how to feel that joy for themselves, because they're not in their own deep creative, you know, aligned self. So that is, I feel like, something you might be looking at here. So you have to communicate something that has to do with you kind of claiming and remembering that it's okay for you to move forward like this. You're not here to, you know, solve everything for everyone or keep their stuff that they don't want to do in mind. And so you're going to see that what you've been doing is you have been sort of stepping into this picture where they maybe didn't have to take a look at that. And because of you feeling like you needed to protect them, but really it wasn't a protection. It's not a protection, you know, because you allowing for yourself to move forward on what you feel is best for you and stepping into this path and saying, this is how I want things to be, that is actually what is going to allow for the other party, this other relationship, to deal with what they need to deal with. Because you are to master yourself in your relationships. That's what the Temperance reverse here is also. You are to master yourself in your relationships. You are to take a look at moving forward with your value out there in the world, with your desires and your plans, and you cannot stop. That's another thing with these two cards. Do not stop now, right? Because you are the teacher. Jack of Hearts, you're learning a lot about yourself. You are the teacher who is going to be putting together this thing that you have never done before. You've never allowed for yourself to go there before. And so your partnerships, will very much expand from this moment forward. And it has to do with you just saying here, most important right here is going to be, I cannot stop now. I am going to trust this. Can you trust it? Right? Now, if you feel not ready to share with the world or what it is that you're trying to create, don't do it, right? Again, whatever it is that you're trusting, it is going to come from deep within. You don't have to worry about it because you will know when it's go time. We have the Wheel of Fortune over here. You will know when it's go time. Someone else's idea of value will not define your own value. You have to keep your own boundaries in that, okay? So we said a lot about that. Let's take a look at the Wheel of Fortune. Wheel of Fortune. Let's take a look. I love that Wheel of Fortune in the position that it's in because it is followed with you understanding you've made the right choices, no matter how difficult the situation seemed. Yep. You're letting go of old ways of always listening to someone else, always, trusting what they were saying. Something like this in a relationship dynamic is going to become obvious. You're going to be listening to yourself. You're going to say to yourself, hey, this is the right thing. This is my protection. I'm going to break away from what it is that used to hold me sort of in a stagnant energy, used to be a very destructive pattern. And so now you're moving forward. 8 of Wands is a moving forward. Again, your effort is, required here, but you will know when it's go time. I feel like for a lot of you, it is going to be right after that full moon. You're going to be integrating a lot of things that are important that require commitment. And that's what I'm seeing here. Yep. You're going to let go of old ways on how you used to live, and you're going to replace them with new ways. And it will have to do with you just understanding that you feel different about yourself. And that's what I'm seeing here. The only other card here that I'm going to be pulling that I want to clarify a little bit more is this 6 of Clubs energy, because I feel like it is going to be really important that we take a look at what else do you need to know about that 6 of Clubs, because I feel like this is going to be a very big moment here for you. Another guidance. Yep. If someone else says something to you that feels like it is clouding your mindset, or they're trying to kind of get in the way, that is your clue that is not what you are to listen to. Okay, you will see it. That balance is coming back like big time. We talked about balance in the beginning. That balance is returning, Whatever this interaction is that you have, you cannot avoid it, Just be graceful with yourself because you are your very own universe. You are your very own connection. You are your connection source to divinity, not them. And so that is what's really important here, okay? Let's take a look at your spiritual... Let's take a look at your spiritual card. I just am laughing because, wow. Do we have to say any more about this, Pisces? This is such a lovely reading. Like, I said in the beginning, you are a powerhouse, And that is what this is about. And you're coming out of this time of just maybe being even silent about things, not saying something. And now you're like, no, it's time. It's time for me to participate. It is time for me to step into it. I also feel like as soon as after that full moon is over, you're going to have another premonition that will be about the future again. And you're going to keep having these, actually. You're going to keep having these, I feel like, until the end of May. So whatever these are, it's going to be worth it to pay attention to them. And that's what I'm seeing here for you, Pisces. All right, Pisces, so here are your cards for the Taurus phase. Wow, it's going to be another forward movement month for you. A little bit less of a decision making, more of a strength building month, I feel like. And we see that obviously in the strength card, but we also see it in the wands. So if you pay attention here, you're going to have a lot of situations that is going to test your strength and your ability to move forward, but how you're going to do it is going to matter the most. And then you also have a very important validation here when it comes to money, when it comes to holding on to things that are really important to hold on to right now. I mean, that is sort of what Taurus, this Taurus season and also the Taurus phase with this new moon kicks off with. And then you end up with a very interesting new relationship that is going to enter your life, that is going to teach you a lot about how to think, how to move forward, and how to apply certain skills that have to do also with communication skills into building more success with projects or career or things that are really important to you that you're trying to create more of in your life right now. So that is in a nutshell what we're taking a look at. We're going to dive a little bit deeper. The Four of Pentacles here, that is the predominant energy of this month for you. And it has to do with you exploring what you need to hold on to, what builds confidence, what builds sort of a fertile ground. And what I mean by that is that you are creating this space now where you're going to be acting on all the things that you're going to be inspired by. Now, this person has both of the pentacles underneath their feet. Again, we see the themes of the feet, the Queen's energy from last cycle into this cycle now. There is more work to be done, and the work that is to be done is to hold on and step onto value. Step into value, onto the value, because acting on your inspiration is actually what's going to move you forward. So here again, your thoughts become things, because that pentacle is also on top of his, the crown of his head. And we see the pentacle also right around his throat and chest area. So whatever it is that you need to be communicating, that is something that is going to be of importance as well this month. Something about communication, something about, speaking things of value will also become a thing, but later on. This is right around that full moon time during this month. So here you are creating a lot more. You are acting upon those things. You're going to be creating a lot more things in your life that they matter. They matter to you because it's your intention, and your intention is sourced from what you believe in and what it is that you're trying to accomplish now, because this waiting period is over. So this month is going to be a lot action oriented, but it's a lot more methodical than it was in Aries season, right? In Aries season, we were definitely moving a little bit quicker. Now the energy has slowed down. And so we are freeing and continuing to free our imagination here by physical, tangible skill sets, skills, things that are being created in reality, okay? So just not in our head, but from concept into reality. And so here, that is the predominant energy for you. The Five of Wands is very much, it's going to have to do with you struggling a little bit around your belief systems, because I think that what you're going to be internally kind of realizing is that now, as you are headed towards your goals, your dreams, the things that you love, you are going to be looking at your belief in regards to the areas that you didn't think that you needed to improve, but now will be improving on. So there is a little bit of this like back and forth. I think that you're going to be doing. Again, we're going to be taking a look at that. And this will have to do with like how you want to go about things. Right? It's not so much about, you know, having like other relationship or their mindsets in it or whatever. It really is just you looking at how you want to go about it. So like, I'll give you an example. You know, if you're creating a project, are there colors involved? Are there textiles involved? Are there, you know, particular emotions that you're trying to convey? And when you're conveying those emotions, you know, are they really speaking to you? Is it you? Is it the kind of material you want to do? Is it silver, gold, metal? I'm just giving examples, right? So I think a little bit of this, I keep hearing Venus. I don't know why, but when I'm looking at that Five of Wands, it's sort of like you're looking at what you want to attract through this lens that you're working through, which has a lot to do with like, okay, what do I believe in? I know what my goal is, but now you're peeling it back and you're taking a look at, okay, how am I going to do it? How am I going to move forward? What is it actually going to look like? So I think that this is where you're going to be taking a look at yourself a little bit. And it's just a growth period. Every time we try to expand something in our life, it also comes with a breakdown. Because that's the polarity that we live in. You know, it's like a lot of times we wish that it wouldn't be that way, but it is that way. And this is why astrology is so powerful. This is why tarot is so powerful. This is why the seasons are powerful, because we cannot pretend that we're not in a seasonal phase. And so we are. This is what we've been given. It is a universal law. We are in seasons. And so here, that Five of Wands is a season for you to dig in a little bit deeper, to figure out how you want to do it. And that how-to is then turning into strength, because that how-to, that strength that you are creating will directly create trusting what it is that you're doing, but it's almost going to come with like this boundary creation as well, because you're going to feel like you're going to want to protect it. And that is where your strength is going to come out of. It's really interesting. Like, it's a very interesting month. I think you're going to be very pleasantly surprised that it goes this way, that you didn't realize that this aspect of you is being born. So this is super important as well. If you hear a little bit of cracking going on my chair, it's getting old. The chair is getting old. So if you do hear that in the background, I apologize. So the Nine of Cups, it's a wonderful energy, right? Like your guys' readings are always so much fun. The Nine of Cups, okay, it's a time where you're going to really give life to your emotions. That's what I'm seeing here. You're giving life to your emotions. You are practicing a lot more kind of radical honesty. You're kind of practicing that out in the open because you feel like you're very connected to your own creation now, the strength that you're having. So it's creation meets strength meets sort of this radical honesty. And something about this is also going to be a test for you. Like you're testing the waters with this kind of a lens. And that's what I feel like the Nine of Cups really is going to be about. And so when you are doing that though, I think that what happens here is that you are going to be looking at your sort of how to live fully, how to live freely. There's something that is going to come up here that you are going to have a little bit of a block, and that block will have to do with you having to push through. You might say to yourself, or you might even talk to yourself during that time and say, I don't want to do it. You know, I don't want to move on with this. Like, again, this is the breakdown, okay? This internal breakdown is directly above that Ace of Wands. So the Five of Wands is speaking to the Ace of Wands. Yep, you're going to have to push through. That's the message for me for you, because that is where your clarity is going to come out of. This is where you're going to get really, really clear and you're going to be connecting to what you need to connect to in the earthly matter, okay? For some of you, this will also have to do with like real estate. I know this keeps coming up for you guys. I don't know if you're moving, if you're like trying to buy a piece of land, whatever it is that you're trying to do, or the hopes and wishes that you have in regards to it. If you haven't taken action on that yet, if you're wanting to move somewhere, if you're wanting to even travel to a particular place, you're going to have to kind of just go do it. Like, that is what the Five of Wands is saying here. The Ace of Wands is saying it cannot be just a project anymore. Like, it cannot be like a passion that is silently sitting in the background. It will have to be a growth period where you're going to have to go get up and do it, buy the tickets, register for the thing, take a look at the paperwork, pick up the phone, call the people. That is the kind of thing that we're seeing here, because that is what is going to turn this Ace of Wands into freedom. That is what is going to turn it into fulfillment and to live fully. That is what this is going to be about. Okay, the Four of Wands reversed. You are continuing. I mean, it's so interesting. Like, when we read, I cannot say this enough, when we read for the seasons, we see some of the cards keep coming back up and they switch positions. And so it's beautiful here because that Four of Wands was in the position of the Ace of Wands and now is moving on forward, now moving into a new position here, which it completely correlates to you having to listen. You're going to say to yourself, like, it's a boundary. You have to listen to your own intuition. You are still dealing with this dynamic, this relationship dynamic. It seems like it feels like it's considered family. And so here, this relationship dynamic comes from the past where you would just accommodate the person or accommodate a set of people that, you know, they want you to show up in a particular way. And it's a bit selfish. So I think that here with the Four of Wands, what you're taking a look at is what you're realizing is you're going to have to move ahead without their opinion. That's what I'm seeing here. If it's not a relationship like dynamic that you're dealing with, it is going to be like with an unexpected sort of reoccurrence in regards to a smaller group of people. That's what I'm seeing here. But it's reoccurring. Like it's in your life. It is in the present moment. It's something that you're dealing with. And it just creates sort of this, you feel kind of like you don't want to upset someone. That's what this is about, okay? And if you don't want to upset someone, well, this month you are not going to worry about it so much because you are holding on to your own values. You are following your own emotional currency. And with the Four of Wands reversed, we're looking at, you know, you moving ahead and also not sharing your plans. So I want to just point this out because something is happening this month where I think that for you, it came up a little bit last month. I'm sorry, my voice just keeps going in and out. So last month, it was like you're gonna be in this place where you're gonna have this relationship dynamic where they want you to do something else, or they want it to be perfect, or there's like this idea of perfection. But this month, that same exact situation that you're dealing with, you are still moving forward, but you realize that you cannot share the plans. And that is important here with the Four of Wands reverse. That is coming through very strongly for me, for you. For some of you Pisces, you're going to be invited into a place to go and to, I don't know if it's a party, if it's some kind of place. You're going to get invited, but trust the first feeling that you get, because I feel like it's going to be a no. I feel like you're going to turn it down. Don't go. Whatever this invitation is, something there isn't good. It's not pure. It's not good. It's sort of there's something really disconnected about that feeling behind it, that you are to trust it. You're to trust it. Don't go. Okay, that's another thing that's coming through. The Hanged Man is reversed here. and it's coupled with that Five of Swords that came out together. So what I feel like this is going to be is that you are going to have some new friend or someone you're going to meet that will be either through work, or you're going to meet this person like, let's say at a business gathering or something that you're doing for your own career. And when you're meeting this person is really going to inspire you. They are going to be teaching you a lot about yourself, and they're also going to be helping you to build a better connection to the actions that you're taking and for the greater good. Something about the greater good is going to become a part here for you. And I think that another thing that you are realizing is that this person has a lot of background with understanding how to not stay stuck, okay? How to keep things fresh. Something about this is going to become very important as well. So let's dive into the reading a little bit more. We're going to shuffle a couple more cards because I want to dive in a little bit deeper to each and every one of the cards. So we're going to make it a bigger reading. Each and every single one of the cards. I'm going to shuffle the cards only once because these cards are super slippery and sometimes they just like fall out in stacks. So I'm just going to shuffle it once and then start picking from the top. Okay. The Four of Pentacles coupled with the Seven of Diamonds. So anything that no longer brings in money, okay, or no longer brings in sort of a feeling that it allows for you to be in a mode of exploration, you're going to cut it out. That is a little bit unexpected as well, but you're cleaning house in this area, okay? So this could be things that you're doing to your house. This could be things that are maybe draining even the finances. So like, let's say that there's something going on. You always have to fix this one thing at your house. You're going to find a way to just completely let it go and not even deal with it anymore. Something like this is going to come up, okay? Doesn't have to be in your house. It could be in all areas where money is being spent so that you can bring stability back. You continue, we had the Three of Clubs in the last reading too. You continue to disconnect from things that don't provide clarity anymore. This is really, really important because I think that you're going to be honoring the passage of time from the past, okay? There is sort of like a lot of wisdom that came through that you're going to be honoring during this time, but you're also going to know that it requires your effort in order for you to accept what is happening. Like this card, I don't know why, it brings like acceptance. It brings acceptance to you doing the work that you need to do, even though you may feel like you don't want to put this kind of work in it, or it feels unfamiliar. But when you do, and you're going to surprise yourself, when you do, you start to actually connect to what you needed to connect to within you. It's going to bring some peace. It's going to bring patience. You know, when you do the thing that you don't want to do, it is going to relax you into stillness. And that is what is so important, because when you have clarity and you have that clear like mindset, you can transform like anything. You can return to nature, right? Like your natural sense. I also feel like for a lot of you this month, like if you have a connection to nature, if nature, anything, right? Walking in the forest, taking a walk, looking at trees, looking at nature, absorbing nature, that is going to be really important for your mindset to start clearing things out. If you can go to the ocean, if you can go hike, these are the types of things that are going to conserve your energy this month, and they're going to help you to slow down, to narrow it down to the Nine of Cups, which is your emotions that you're going to be connecting to, that will allow for you, again, radical honesty. This is a card that there's like an honest connection to yourself. That turns into this like medicine for you. Heart, mind, mind, soul, spirit, like all of these things that are encompassing our entire auric field. The Two of Spades is going to be a time where you're going to be connecting more into your intuition, the things that intuit you, the things that you're drawn to, your actions even, right? Like the kinds of actions that you take, how they impact you emotionally, but then how they also impact the world around you. This is where you're going to be having a starting point in this area as well. Ace of Wands. Yep. You got to let go of this idea that you can't grow or that you can't heal old wounds or that you are to hold on to them. Okay. The Ace of Wands above again is the Five of Wands. Letting go of these old ways in which you thought that you needed to do things or not do things. Right now, if you put the effort in, you have the power to be in this place where you restore connection to your very own spirit, right? Like this is super important. This is so important this month to pay attention to how you think and how that mindset also doesn't allow for you to live fully. You're going to make like super important connections this month that will allow for you to see that what you are doing at the present moment, you're changing it. And you're going to get that validation by you putting the effort in. The thing that you don't want to do, freedom is right behind it. The thing you don't want to say, freedom is right behind it. And I also am getting very strongly that you are going to be listening to someone or like a teacher that you have or someone who is helping you to kind of cut through the noise. This person is going to inspire you and they're going to say something to you that will make so much sense, and it will be in regards to what you've been holding on to. Seven of Spades. What have you been holding on to that you don't want to let go? I have a very close relationship to the Seven of Spades. That card, it's been in my in the Cards of Truth system. It's been in my ecliptic, I think, for the last 3 years. We have to listen. Sometimes we don't want to let go to the things that we're holding on to. There's something in your life that you're attached to that is causing this confusion, that is causing for you to not move forward. So what is that? And that is what's blocking you from doing that work in the world. Pretty much that's what we're looking at. How are we to deal with this energy? Both of these, okay? Whatever card I'm going to pull and put on top of this is also going to help deal with this energy. Three of Hearts. You are exploring new ways to feel, share, and to listen to your intuition. So you're going to have like new ways in which you're going to do it. And I feel like a lot of you are going to be signing up for a course, or you're going to sign up for something that is going to help you to let your spirit lead you, versus like instead of just always being in a place where you allow to kind of give agreement to every emotion, whatever this course is, you're going to be attracted to it because it is going to be able to give you more practical, methodical, more grounded ways in which you're going to be exploring your emotions. Okay, that is very important here. So if you're thinking about buying the book, signing up for the course, whatever this is, if you're drawn to it, the Three of Hearts here says, go for it. It's going to be an awakening for you. That's going to be long lasting, like years to come after that. So if you're in that place, sign up. I say with the Three of Hearts, it's a yes. To deal with any family dynamics and to deal with the past, again, we see sevens, we see threes. This is a time where effort is required, letting go is required, but what's on the other side is a deep connection back to the things that you truly, truly need and back to the things that really matter in your life. So, okay, so for both of these cards, the Hanged Man, the Six of Hearts, and the Five of Swords, the Six of Hearts, what a beautiful new relationship that is coming through, that is going to allow for you to bring a lot more balance into work. You know, this is going to be your legacy. This is going to be work. This is something that you're trying to get off the ground. This is something you want to start, and it's just the beginning. You guys are going to be just now beginning to do this. Okay, that's what I'm seeing here. What a beautiful reading, Pisces. Let's move on to 4 cards that fell out for you for this month. You're going to have, 4 spiritual messages. The first one is taking a risk. We talked about it. Taking a risk, putting the effort in. Super clear. What do you need to forgive yourself for? What are you holding on to that creates a sense of cloud, a sense of resentment even? There could be resentment there. Either you receive that resentment and it's not yours, or you are resenting something. But when you think about this whole entire moon cycle, what do you need to forgive in your life? Yourself or others, or whatever this word forgiveness, what will surface with it, the other side of it, it comes with a new sense of focus, a new sense of strength, okay? A new listening. We see the bobcat. This is a new listening. Is this a bobcat? Why did I think about, I used to live in Colorado and I thought about a bobcat because that's what they would look like in the snow. Okay, courage. You're going to come out of this month with a lot more courage. You're going to come out this month with a lot more courage. You're going to come out this month with feeling like that you're ready. You're ready to dream up a completely new way in which you're going to do the things that you love. And you're going to feel that, I think you're going to feel very happy with yourself that you have let go of the things that just don't make sense anymore in your life, right? And that has to do, directly ties into money, directly ties into how it's been impacting you. Pathways are opening. New relationships are going to come with it. We keep seeing this rose card all throughout the season. For many of the readings, the rose keeps coming up. The rose is a completely healing energy. It is high in frequency. The rose is very healing. And it heals in a subtle but in such a powerful way. So I feel like this is what this month is bringing. The more that you continue to move through the Taurian energy here, the way that this is going to bring healing to you is day by day. More wisdom, more clues, more ways in which you're going to see that you're building a new spiritual connection in your life as a whole, like to everything. You're seeing it from a much more let's say promising way, okay? Promises, you're going to see it from a place of like just awakening to your very own skills once again. Not that you didn't know them, but this is a whole nother level that you're diving into. And that's what I'm seeing here for you, Pisces. For your new moon in Gemini, the solar eclipse, that is going to be a strong one that we're all going to be feeling and experiencing. I do want to share a chapter, one brief chapter out of the Lao Tzu Tao Te Ching, or the Book of the Way. If you've ever heard of it before, it is a book that gives a lot of a balance and perspective, and to kind of get in touch with our generous spirit. And I read this book a lot when I am contemplating on energies and meditate and kind of focus on my sadhana practices, my daily rituals that I have. And so there is a brief chapter here that I want to read and share with you that I feel is going to be speaking to the High Priestess energy, which is going to be the biggest energy for you during this cycle. And it says, true words aren't eloquent. Eloquent words aren't true. Wise people don't need to prove their point. People who need to prove their point aren't wise. The master has no possessions. The more he does for others, the happier he is. The more he gives to others, the wealthier he is. The Tao nourishes by not forcing, by not dominating. The master leads. And so this, I feel like, very much speaks to the energy I feel like you're going to come into. I know we're not striving for perfection, but it's going to be the perfect balance for you during this Gemini season, because what is going to happen is you're going to see everyone sort of emotionally start to fall apart. Not that we want to see them fall apart, not because, you know, that is what we're kind of meditating on, but during this solar eclipse season, you're going to see a lot of letting go that people are going to be confronted with because of what's going to happen in the environment and with news and with all of the stuff that's going to start to kind of confront and come out. And there's just going to be so much stuff that's going to come out. And you are going to be a solid pillar for a lot of this, for the people in particular in your life. You have to know this because this is an energy I feel like I want to help you, assist and guide you into. I feel like a lot of this stuff you're going to start to pick up as soon as the dark moon phase begins, before we're going to hit up that solar eclipse. And I think that you are going to be reclaiming your essence here during this time as well, because of the way in which you're going to be experiencing things. This is going to be a very big recharge. You are really just going to be helping to navigate obstacles, whether that is going to be yourself or other people. I think that this is going to be a very big period for you to understand the strength and the power that you have. It's going to be all about you, in the sense that you are going to be seeing the divinity in all beings. I know it sounds really like crazy what I'm saying right now, but I feel like you're going to be in this place where you're going to be really looking at spirituality, but not through just your own. It is going to be for all involved. It is going to be a time where I think you're going to be illuminating and looking at how to navigate challenges, how to navigate lifestyle obstacles that are arising very often. Lifestyle obstacles in particular for the people that are going to be a part of your life, or that you're going to be seeing that are right now getting confronted with a lot of this stuff that's coming up. And it has to do with health. For some of you Pisces, what you're going to be observing is not going to be your very own. Actually, it's going to be for other people. You're going to be observing health. You're also going to be observing like the confrontation of lifestyle choices that some people in your life have made that now are catching up to them. And then for others, there's going to be sort of like this, I feel like you're going to be dealing with a situation where a piece of information surfaces that is going to be directly impacting choices that people in your life have made in the past, that now they're going to be kind of like, they're going to go through some kind of small period of disappointment. It's not going to be long lasting. It is going to be a faster sort of energy that they're going to be moving through. But because of the way at which the speed is going to be energetically, I think that it is going to be a time where I think that people are just going to be like in this place of, wow, you know, I didn't expect this kind of a turn all of a sudden. So a lot of unexpected stuff that is going to be happening here. But you are solid. That is the High Priestess energy. High Priestess energy here. It is definitely overpowering everything else that's going on. And I just want you to remember this, because you're going to be in a very balanced place and you're going to help kind of illuminate some things here. Now, the Four of Cups reversed, I think, is going to be an unexpected change in the future plans. So this is something that you're going to be emotionally feeling like you didn't expect, but you're going to be welcoming it. It is very much connected to something you thought you were going to be doing, but the currency is changing because of what you're meant to do. So this month is going to show you what you are meant to do. It is going to give you all of the signals, the signs, the omens. You're going to be connected to this portion of your life, because the path you were going to actually take, that you were kind of dreaming up, something in regards to things you really, really love doing as a hobby, or things that you were just now kind of exploring like your creativity in. Something about that, instead of sort of being in this place where you were going to kind of, slowly build it, all of a sudden the energy is changing and you're quickly breaking out of this isolated mode that you were in. Not that it was bad. It was just sort of like you were contemplating, planning, all that. You come into the season, like the first, I'm going to say 5 days or so, you're going to break that isolation mode. And then you are going to be seeking sort of new ways in which you are going to reach out for support as well, because something is coming up here. We're going to dive into it a little bit deeper. Something's coming up here where you're going to be seeking support because you're going to be helping someone else navigate kind of like an obstacle course. That's what I'm seeing here. It's almost like an obstacle course, okay? And what you're also realizing during this time is because of what is happening, because of the sudden changes with people in your life that you weren't expecting, you are going to be in this place where you're going to realize that you have not been alone all along. Something about that is coming up as well. The Nine of Swords, really interesting here is that you are going to be releasing a lot of your very own sort of, let's just call it doo-doo, okay? I know it's a really weird word, but like it's like your own doo-doo, like it's not even gonna matter anymore. Something about that is you're breaking free of it, and that is what the Nine of Swords here is all about. I know the card in here just doesn't look like the best card right now because, she's holding her hands by her head and it's just like such a dramatic card. But really what I feel like you are going to be experiencing, and the picture that I'm seeing is that you're just going to come to this point because of everything that's going to be changing so quickly. And the High Priestess being above the Nine of Swords, you're just not going to be spending a lot of time kind of giving this attention to old emotional things that just like no more. You're breaking free of it. And that is sort of going to help you to reinvent your ideas. And you're going to be aiming a lot higher than you've ever have before. It doesn't matter. Like the energy is going to be so prime to aim a lot higher than you ever have before, but it's getting sourced from a deep place of divinity. What does divinity mean to you, right? Who you are in your essence, in your spiritual essence, that is what this is being sourced from. And it's undeniable. Like that is an energy that is going to just come through. Now, during this time though, you are also going to be examining all of your priorities. You're going to be placing your attention there. The reason you're doing that is because this is really interesting to me. You're not saying a lot. You're a lot more in a like, place of feeling the emotions and knowing exactly sort of how to move it out of the way. And you're taking the emotion, putting it into action. You're taking the emotion, placing new value. And what's so interesting about that for you is that I know it's going to sound really bizarre, but you're kind of going to learn how to navigate like a Virgo. It's really interesting, right? Virgo is your opposite sign, but really it is your sister sign. All the opposite signs, in my opinion, are sister signs because we are learning how to learn from each other the things that, we are trying to create and generate in our lives in order to, move us forward. And why are we moving us forward? Because we're moving us forward because every day there is a new cycle, a new energy, a new thing that we're learning. And that's why I believe, here. We are here to, learn new things. We're here to liberate ourselves. We're here to put our focus on new things and to find our passionate things over and over again. This is why we're in these cycles, right? And so the Queen of Cups here, it is making you so intuitive that you are able to dive deep into something you were doubting about your identity. And what is also going to be happening during this time, because you're learning how to move on so quick, you are going to be understanding why you were doubting, why that doubt was there, to identity. And when I say identity, what I mean by that is this spring season all together, what is wrapping up for you in this spring season is the idea of someone that impacted you in the past, someone who played a really big role in a not so good way, okay? I just have to say that too. This person didn't play a good role in a good way because they kind of convinced you that you shouldn't think or act or be this person. When you try to move into that direction, you were shut down hard. Boundaries were crossed by that person and in a way that wasn't pleasant. And I think that what you are realizing here very deeply is that this is now a time where you are realizing that that is why you were being held back. You were maybe, it's not your fault, but it's just something that's coming up and it's bringing you clarity and it's letting you examine your priorities from a different angle. And when you see it from this angle, guess what you can do? You can aim for your highest potential. Once again, it's sort of like a second chance in this particular area of your life. Ultimately, what is this phase going to bring you to? Complete liberation, okay? Complete liberation from the past, from a burden that was created, but you were perhaps not clear exactly what it was. And so now this month is bringing you that clarity. You're learning how to think in a very different way about yourself and your life and value as a result of it. Now, I also do want to say that an image is coming through for me for you. For a lot of you, your teeth will be something that you will have to pay attention to. Something about your teeth. I'm not in any form or shape a professional. You will have to go seek your physician if you're needing to know anything about that. I'm not saying that there's going to be anything wrong. What I'm saying is that the image of teeth are coming up. So the images of teeth, they have to do with something in particular, the culture that I'm from. Teeth have to do with wisdom that comes through the image of it, okay? And especially if you dream about teeth, it has to do with something that is going to be ending, a life cycle that is ending, a particular cycle that's ending. So a wisdom that is coming through of it. So we can take it literal. We can take it like literal. You have to go like do something. You have to improve like teeth or something, or it will have to do with those themes that I just mentioned. Again, you want to consult with your physician. I'm not a professional, but I wanted to mention this to you because that image is coming through very strongly. So what I want to do is I want to clarify the Four of Cups, the Page of Wands, and I also want to clarify the Queen of Cups and the Six of Pentacles. I feel like these are going to be the most important to clarify in today's reading. So let's go ahead and do that. And let's see what is going to be coming up with this particular area right over here. All right, so we have the Jack of Diamonds. Yep, there is an unexpected offer that is going to come through that will have to do with an even better situation. This is completely correlated to making you feel a lot more financially stable. Your emotions are going to be in a place where you are starting to change your belief about a particular financial endeavor. Or it is also, I feel like for some of you Pisces, it has to do with like real estate or the house or like where you live. So you're going to be aiming in a different direction. So there could be a move attached here. But ultimately you are going to be changing the future plans just because this financial situation is going to work out a lot better. And that is what I'm seeing here with the Jack of Diamonds and the Four of Clubs. Four of Cups. And so what I feel like you also need to know about this is that you're welcoming this because you felt like this area was stagnant. You didn't know maybe how to improve it or what to do about it. And you wished and intended, I feel like a lot of you wished and intended for a innovation in this area of emotional stability and financial stability. So it kind of ties into it. And so what you're going to do here is I feel like you are going to realize fairly quickly that in order for you to make peace with the situation, you have to sort of look for the hidden blessing. So it may not be exactly what you were hoping for, but the feeling behind it is very close to it. So I feel like this is going to turn out to be in really good direction for you. Even though at first it may be like, what? You know, you do have the strength to kind of see it from a more balanced place. The Page of Wands, yep, we talked about it, security. Whatever you're going to be doing is you have to change the plans fairly quickly because you are looking to create more stability and security. That is ultimately what the Four of Diamonds is about, right? We see the four. The four is a very powerful number. It also talks about where you feel most comfortable in life. Okay, the fours speak to that. Where do you feel most comfortable? Where do you feel most safe? And perhaps this situation that is coming in, this offer that's coming in, this opportunity that's coming in, it's going to tie to another person that you don't know. You're meant to do this. Like, you are meant to do this. You're meant to go in this direction. That is going to start to unfold more and more as you come into this month. With the Queen of Cups here, we're going to clarify this as well. Yep. I mean, the Eight of Spades here with the Queen of Clubs, the person that influenced you, they just weren't well. You need to know that. They weren't well. They were very ill or stuck, or there's something going on there that you kind of took that energy maybe in and didn't realize that you did. So there's some metaphysical work that you're going to be doing here. This is deep. This is a deep knowledge. You are really innovating anything to do with your role, anything to do with doubt and identity, who you are. Something about that. There is a distinction that is going to come through that's going to help you to separate what happened. Because this person, whoever you dealt with there, that impacted your life in this way, they convinced you that you are not allowed. You're not allowed to be your own in this particular area of life. You should be doubting yourself. Something like this is going to be coming up and completely transforming. Okay. And that is also correlated to that Four of Diamonds, because you're going to be in a place where you're going to connect to security and value. You're making these changes, but then as a result, another thing that's happening is you're examining your priorities. And because you're examining your priorities, you're going to be able to deeply understand. Again, I told you those premonitions are going to happen. So I feel like this is also tied into another premonition you're going to have. It's going to tie into it, and you're going to be able to see something for what it is. You're going to be able to see someone for who they were, who they are. I don't feel like this person is a part of your life anymore. And so what you're going to realize here is that you're going to get unstuck. You know, it's just not going to mess with your purpose anymore. That's what it is. You're bringing in more peace into your life by not giving your attention to the areas where you are going to be disadvantaged. So what you realize here about money is that your stability, okay, your financial security also creates really good harmony for what is happening in your day-to-day lifestyle. And that is very important here, because I think that you had this idea that maybe you thought you couldn't organize things a particular way, or you couldn't strategize in a particular way. So you're learning very new ways on how to create a much better grounded perspective towards these areas of your life that you've been wanting to work on. So think with the Six of Pentacles, think of an obstacle course, okay? And you're on this obstacle course, and you realize that the obstacle course, like, there are certain things that are just not going to be an obstacle anymore. This kind of a revelation is going to happen, and a liberation is going to come out of it. The Four of Hearts basically says you're going to be free. Like, You're going to let this burden go. There is a financial burden tied to it. You're going to let that burden go. There is a day-to-day sort of cleansing that is going to be happening, and you're going to think and act like a Virgo. Maybe you should go watch the Virgo video when it's out. You're going to strategize. And the more you strategize, the more headspace you're going to have. We have the Ace of Swords. That is what the outcome is. You are going to be holding this new clarity with grace. Grace, grace. You start with so much grace for everything that's happening. And you are going to, be able to take that grace and begin again to do things that will allow for you to create more stability and security in your life in a way that you never imagined. And so this Ace of Swords is also completely correlated to the winter months. So when you come into winter of 2021 into 2022, you are going to see that the risk that you took is going to pay off by then. You will be happy that you have been taking this risk and that you are in the place that you're in because of the premonition that you're going to be having. Okay. All right. So Ace of Swords. You can't make this up. The 10 of Diamonds, Pisces, your readings are just always amazing. The 10 of Diamonds, that's amazing. You're having the bigger picture. The bigger picture of where you're headed, what you need to do, all of your life, everything you're doing in your life, you're headed in the right direction. You're going to get the biggest validation you've ever had. This cycle, so clear. I want to go back to the clarification. We're going to use a different deck. We're going to clarify who needs help, why they need help. Okay, so let's take a look at that. I'm just going to lay the cards straight across. There's some people in your life that you're going to be a pillar for this month. But why is that, and what's happening? What's the role that you're going to be playing? But let's see what's happening first. Okay. So there's a lack of grounding. Okay. There's a lack of grounding. Some things in their life is developing, and this tree right over here basically says you're reaching out. I feel like you're going to be reaching out to someone or some people. Yep. It has to do with an adventure or an idea or a wild side, a part of their life. I'm seeing a couple of people here, different stories though. Everybody's got a different story. They maybe were doing things that now, again, these two energies don't mesh. And so they're confronting this aspect. Now, your role is to help illuminate. Your role is to help understand why this was happening, what they need to do about it. I feel like you're focusing on what they need to do about it. So you're becoming a pillar, like the sun. You are a pillar because you know that you can help them. You know that they have been there. Someone here, even someone that you're helping, plays a huge role in your life because they have been there for you during a time that you really need it. And so you're giving this loyalty back to them. And because you believe in them. That's really what it is. You believe in them. They're going to overcome this. I just want to say that. Whatever it is that you're helping with, they're overcoming it. They're going to need a little bit of your magic touch here. They're going to overcome it. I do see that you're going to be reaching out for help. And then after that, there is a path that is going to be created. There's a strategy that's going to get created. And out of this strategy, they're going to overcome it. It's like a whole new value is being born. A whole new path is being born. The path isn't easy, but it's going to be worth it. So whatever ideas you are bringing on how to find a solution for this friend or this person in your life that plays a really big role, it is going to be transformational, and it's going to help them to do things differently and to build a life of value. That is what this is about. Wow. Let's take a look at your spiritual messages. We have openness and we have opportunity. Stay open. New things are coming in a way that you have to adapt, and you have to maybe take this as an opportunity that you had not maybe considered before. That is really what, like, the validation we're getting again with this reading. What an incredible reading, Pisces. Let me know how this reading was for you. I am just sending you so many blessings. I hope that this season is going to be everything you wished for and more. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.